first Slaughterhouse breakup. Now, every time I wake up, somebody got a problem with Oct. Dang, man. A lot of things hurt in this world. But this one right here, man. This one right here, though. But for real, I mean, this one right here really, really, really hurts, man. Slaughterhouse, the power group. So many people call the super group they would call, right? Of elite lyricists. Joe Budden, Royce the 5'9", Joell Ortiz, Crooked Eye, King Crook as he is now. They have broken up, man, seemingly out of nowhere to the fans. But if you believe Joell and Crook's side, this has been brewing for a long time, man. So yeah, it looked like Joell and Crook came out with a song, or a couple songs. They're about to drop a project. Pretty much it's gonna be called The Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse. They have the pig being slaughtered, but burning the house down, and burning the group down, and it hurts, man. I remember when they first got together, so excited, and they dropped, they had their projects together when they signed to Shady, and they were just talking about it. They having their interviews about it. It was just, and I was a Joe Budden fan, so just seeing him getting the spotlight, I was so excited, and discovering all these dope lyricists, because I discovered all these guys through Joe. And like just over the years here, like just going to listen to some of their music for myself, man, and just I loved it. I was like, yes, just real hip hop dudes just coming with bars, just barring them up, not really tripping off the charts, just wanting to wow you and razzle dazzle you with the lyrical ability, the metaphors, wordplay, all that stuff, man. It was fun. It was great. It was awesome. I just really, really, really wish that what's happening right now isn't happening, man. Because look, I was a Slaughterhouse fan, a fan of Joe Budden, and a super fan of Joe, a big fan of Slaughterhouse, and a fan of each person individually. Anytime I see anything about them coming, to this day I go look. I don't listen to music as much as I did before, but I at least go check the project out, just bump to it, be like, okay, I see what you're doing. But yeah, so Joell Ortiz and King Crook, they came out with that, pretty much, I guess, blaming Joe and to some degree Royce for the group not doing nothing together, saying that, Joe was being difficult and Royce didn't want to do nothing without Joe. Now, both Royce and Joe Budden, Royce the 5'9" and Joe Budden, have both said that that's not true, that they're paying this narrative in the wrong way. Royce said he never said that he wouldn't do a 3-man group. Because that's what Joell Ortiz and King Crook state, that Royce said he wasn't doing the group without Joe. They came to him and said, well, maybe we can do a 3-man group, and Royce was like, nah, we can't do it without Joe. King Crook said that hurt him, that he felt like he was picking Joe over them. Again, Royce says that he only got offered a 3-man group one time. That was by Eminem's manager, Paul, and he said no because Joe didn't want to work with Shady, and Shady didn't want to work with Joe, and he said no to that. And then the other time was when King Crook had this deal, which seems like this deal that Crook got was like that last straw, the final nail in the coffin, if you will, on the Slaughterhouse group, or them coming or making a comeback together. It seems like they all have a disagreement about this deal, but basically there was a deal for them to get money. I think they all pretty much say that Crook says that Joe was acting like he didn't want to do it. Joe says he was just tripping off the business end of it. He wanted to understand the business. Royce says that the dude was already saying he didn't want Joe, and Royce was like, well, who is he to come and tell us who's going to be in our group? This is our group. And I even think, to Joe's point, Joe was like, well, we already owners on this. So Crook's talking about, it's going to be an ownership deal with it. And Joe's like, how he going to tell us we already own it? We don't need, this is ours. He not doing us a favor. So that's from their point of view. From Joell and King Crook's point of view, I think they're just like, we was by any means to do this. And Joe was kind of pushing us to the side, wasn't really talking to us. weren't really trying to deal with us. We was presenting stuff. We wanted the group to work. We went out and found offers and found things and brought it to you guys, and y'all pushed it away. Joe made his excuses. I think Joell and Kxng felt like they were just making excuses after excuse, and like we really the dudes fighting for this. And you got every negative thing to say, so why don't you step up and you find some deals? Joe said he was willing to finance it. Joe said he wanted to finance. He said, I can finance this by myself. We don't need somebody else coming in and giving us these demands. Kxng, and maybe Joell said this too, they was like, nah, because you was already acting funny when you was on Love and Hip Hop. That's what I think Kxng said that. He was saying Joe was already acting funny when he was on Love and Hip Hop, thinking he should make more money than the rest of the group. And they was like, well, who knows what Joe will be like if he's funding all this. He might really try to make sure he get like a super bag over everybody. I would say that if he's funding it and it's going to be on his money, his risk, he should get the super bag, because you wouldn't have a problem if, whoever the producer, whoever the music producer or the executive producer, whoever it was, the label, if they put the money into it and they got a big portion of it, you wouldn't have a problem with that. So that is something that I kind of was like, well, what? Somebody's going to get it either way. Would you rather be your homie, or would you be able to be, somebody else? So Royce and Joe got on to give, a lot of this was where they were giving their side of the story. Joe and Royce got on live and were talking. I guess somebody told Joell they was talking. He got on there with them. There was a little back and forth, a lot of disagreement. A lot of what I was saying they were talking about it. Joell was like, y'all didn't want to do it. And Royce and Joe was like, well, when did we say we didn't want to? And I think this right here is why communication is key. This is why everybody needs to say what it is they want, because you can listen to this conversation and see that it might have just been a big misunderstanding, because Joell kept saying, well, look what y'all was doing. I'll bring you something. You said, no, we're not doing that. And then you don't offer no rebuttal or whatever. Joe not answering people back, or he not liking, or you know what I'm saying? And on Joe and Royce's side, they like, bro, nobody ever said we weren't doing it. We just didn't want to do that. So, to me, listening to this, I think both sides are right. I think both sides are right from their perspective. It was just a lack of communication and a lack of understanding meaning behind things. And I wish if they had talked better, we might be in a more positive situation than where we at now. You have so much division within the fan base just because, these people, they had their individual fans before they even came into this group. And so there's a lot of, the fan base has been fractured, split up. And that sucks, because I think we all love all four of these guys. We want them to make it work. But it is kind of a crappy thing to find out like the rest of the world that you guys are going to come out, airing out our private laundry and making money off of it and selling merch with because all four of them own Slaughterhouse equally. It's split 25%, each person. You're going to be making merch off of burning, our logo that we work so hard for. I get where Joe and Royce are coming from, but I also get where Kxng and Joell are coming from when, bro, we kept trying to bring you business and you was not with any of it, and you didn't have no counter to it. You went out there trying to find it. You wanted us to find it. We found it. It's really, especially in the case of Kxng, I found it, and it's just like you knocking it down. But again, it's like, but what you found wasn't really good, and I get where, especially Joe, he's like, I'm willing to do it, but, I'm not about to go take my time out of my day to find the right business work and find the right person. And actually, Joe was saying, I'll finance it, so I can do this for us. I think that's a point that even Kxng admitted to, that a lot of people are overlooking, that Joe wanted to be the one. Joe was willing to come out of retirement. So they keep saying that Joe's retired. I think by Kxng making that statement, talking about like, we're not going to let Joe, finance the album, because then he really going to be trying to get a bigger bag and try to, he already wanted more money because he was on Love and Hip Hop. I think all that is admitting that Joe was willing to come out of retirement. That just makes it another crappy thing. There's another, like, dang, man, we almost got Joe Budden back. Yeah, that's my favorite rapper. So that makes us even more sad and depressing for us Slaughterhouse fans, us Joe Budden fans, us hip hop fans, man. It would have been really dope if we would have got that power group back. But, one thing I'm hoping for, I know a lot of people think this might be a big publicity stunt. They gonna come out and trick, say, we got you. I don't think they would do that. Yeah, I mean, I could be surprised. Maybe they would, but I don't think that's the case. I think this is really an issue. As far as the Joe Budden telling Joell Ortiz to suck his meat, he did not say that. He said the album can. And I think it was just a quick knee-jerk reaction because he was just talking about how hurt he was about this album and it just wasn't right. It was messed up. And he told him, I love you, though. He was like, well, if you love me, support the album. Kind of felt like a jab. I ain't gonna front. And like, I just made myself vulnerable to you as a man and you're gonna try to, make a joke with me or troll me. So I get him in that moment. He was like, man, that album could suck my dick. Like, he probably wasn't even thinking about it. He didn't tell him. He didn't invite Joell to his manhood. He said the album could. Like, I don't want to hear that. But a lot of people try to run with that narrative that Joe told Joell to suck it. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he did not. But yeah, hopefully this is just brothers squabbling, and who knows, maybe from this, Slaughterhouse is probably more talked about than has been talked about in years. So maybe, hopefully, this could be like some unintentional good marketing that maybe in a year or two we can get an album from for them, but probably not.
It's the WACCast podcast, yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack to me,
yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack
It's
to me.
the WACCast podcast, yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack to me,
Yeah.
talk whack to me, talk whack to me.